Hello everyone, it's me and welcome back. We're back today with another ranking and I'm just excited to make this video. I love these videos and I'm just hyped up for some reason. I really don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm making a great video. Maybe it's because I've been fucking bitches, man. I don't know, man. Now last time we ranked the exotic hand cannons, today the pulse rifles. Now this video isn't gonna be as long as the hand cannons because there's a lot more hand cannons than pulse rifles or just any gun. For some reason Bungie takes all their time making hand cannons, which, you know, I'm not complaining because they're my favorite type of gun to use, so, you know, I'm not mad at that, but like, come on. Anyways, that's a weird intro, but anyways, we're getting into the ranking of the exotic pulse rifles in Destiny 2, and there is only 5 pulse rifles that are exotic, so yeah, it's not gonna be as long as the hand cannon one, but I'm gonna do my best to make this detailed and just the perfect ranking, you know. Anyways, just remember, this is a PvP ranking. We don't do the PvE stuff. Well, we do the PvE stuff, just not ranking videos of it. But anyways, remember, we're ranking these based on how dominant they are in PvP. So without further ado, we'll get into the ranking of the exotic pulse rifles from worst to best. Alrighty guys, kicking off the list at number 5, we have the Graviton Lance. Now, the Graviton is a scout rifle more than a pulse rifle, so, you know, I really have no clue why this is a pulse rifle, but, you know, it is for some weird reason, so it's on the list, and it's definitely the worst out of these pulse rifles. And it's definitely my least favorite too, because it's just not fun to use, and I just don't like this weapon that much, you know. I mean, it's just not that good. Just I don't understand why people would use it now. And then, you know, back right before Forsaken, this thing used to just dominate, you know. It was meta, you know. This thing was just dominating, two-tapping people, you know. Everyone was team shotting because that's before snipers and shotguns and all that. But yeah, after Forsaken drop, this weapon just started getting worse and worse, and it's just not relevant anymore. You know, this gun's just kind of forgotten, you know. Nobody really, you never see somebody using a Graviton now. And why should they? You know, this gun is not that good. There's no reason to run this over any other pulse. You know, if you're gonna want to use this thing, you're gonna want to be as far back as you can, because, you know, it's basically a scout rifle. It 3 taps in the head, but it takes a while to do that because this gun does not kill fast. You know, there's so many guns that are way better than it, and it just can't compete. But yeah, that's just me on the Graviton. Definitely, for me, the worst out of the exotic pulse rifles right now. It's just not in a good spot. But yeah, that's the Graviton Lance. This thing should be a scout rifle. I really don't know why it's a pulse rifle, just because they wanted more pulses, I guess. I don't know, just to make it 5 pulse rifles instead of 4. I don't know, man. But anyways, that's a Graviton. It's not in a good spot right now. It's pretty forgotten. Nobody really cares about this weapon right now. It's just a weird weapon, man, and it's definitely the worst on this list. Next up at number 4, we got the Bad Juju. Now, the Bad Juju, man, this thing's better. It's definitely better than the Graviton Lance. You know, you could actually do good. You could actually dominate. Like, I'm not joking. I've dominated in this and Crucible before with the Bad Juju, like, no joke. I mean, I've never done that with the Graviton since it's been just nerfed to hell. But yeah, with the Bad Juju, you know, it's just, you know, it's obviously a fossil, you know, it's not nearly as good as it used to be, like in Destiny 1, D1. But, you know, it's not bad, you know. 3 bursts, it's just not a pulse you'll want to waste an exotic slot on, you know, and that's why it's all the way at number 4. I think it's definitely better than Graviton Lance, but, you know, it still doesn't earn that exotic spot like others do, and just other exotics that are better. You know, the Bad Juju does have that good mid-range, you know, and it can do good up close to medium close range, you know. It just doesn't earn that exact spot, you know. Like, there's purples that are better than the Bad Juju. But yeah, I don't have really much else to say about the Bad Juju. It's just, you know, it just doesn't earn that spot, and that's just the most I could really say about it, because that's the problem with the Bad Juju. It's not good enough. Its exotic perk doesn't do enough, and it doesn't kill as fast as the other pulses ahead on this list. Anyways, that's the Bad Juju. Better than the Graviton Lance. Not quite the others though, at the number 4 spot. At number 3, Outbreak Perfected. Now, this thing is pretty perfected, man. I mean, it's not Outbreak Prime, but perfected, you know, it's still pretty good. The Outbreak Perfected's exotic perk is honestly really good. Might even be the best. The problem is it's more of a PvE perk, because it's just meant for that PvE. You just spam it on someone's head, on an enemy's head, and the Siva just starts doing even more damage over time, so it's just so good for damage just with an exotic, just with a pulse rifle. So it's kind of insane, but in PvP it could work too, because you know, if you're just shooting into groups and people just accidentally walk into the Siva, you know, they're gonna take a lot of damage, and then you could easily just 2-burst them, which you wouldn't be able to do before because you're using Outbreak Perfected. But yeah, some good things about this gun, you know, you got that good exotic perk, shoots fast, you know, it's easy, you know, something with this gun, man, it just sticks to your target whenever you're shooting it for some reason, and I love it. You know, it's got that easy recoil pattern, you don't have to do much for recoil at all, you know, you don't have to manage that at all. It's just not a problem, and it's never been a problem ever since it was in D1, you know. But yeah, Outbreak Perfected, it just doesn't have that 2-burst potential like the top tier pulse rifles, and it doesn't have the far range like the other top tier pulse rifles. So yeah, that's what's really going against it. It's got a lot of positives in the pulse rifle. You know, it's honestly just a really good gun. It just really can't compete with the pulse rifles ahead on our list. So yeah, that's the Outbreak Perfected, and it's at our number 3 spot. At number 2, we have the Vigilance Wing. I remember back when Destiny 2 first came out, and you know, there was no shotguns. They were in your heavy slot, and things were just not right. But you know, something that was right is this gun. It was so good back at, you know, Destiny 2's launch, and it has like a 5-round burst, which is pretty crazy for a pulse rifle. Like, that's just insane. Vigilance, it's just such a good weapon, you know. It has full auto, so you could just hold the trigger. You know, sometimes you don't want to though, but you know, that option is there with the Vigilance. But yeah, I had some moments where I remembered using this thing like I did back in the day when I used it all the time. You don't really see it that often, and that's because, you know, it obviously gets outshined by the No Time to Explain, because No Time is just better, and we'll get into why. But you know, it just gets outshined. But you know, Vigilance, it's still got that really good range, and it's still got that 2-burst capability, and the recoil is nothing. You got the full trigger. You know, there's not much to hate about this weapon. It just clearly gets outshined by our number 1 spot. But yeah, right now this is the second best, and you know, it just gets outshined by the No Time, and that's why it's at the number 2 spot. And at the number 1 spot, we got the No Time to Explain. And you know, I don't really have to explain why this is number 1. I mean, like, I'll just let it speak for itself in this clips, man. It can 2-burst, you know, it's so good. It's got the fastest kill time out of all the exotic pulses, which should just speak for itself on why it's the best pulse rifle right now. And pulse rifles weren't doing too good before the No Time to Explain, and then Beyond Light came out, and those people who paid extra to get this gun got to experience a really good pulse rifle. And we haven't got this since the Vigilance and Graviton were like goated back in the day. You know, the No Time, it's just so dominant. You could bring this thing in the trials. It's the one pulse rifle I would bring in the trials. I've done it before, and yeah, it's the one exotic pulse rifle I'll definitely take in the trials. You know, this thing, it competes, man. It's really good. It's got the range. It's got just the fast kill time, man. It's got it all, man. It does high damage, you know. 2-burst. I don't know what else you want. I don't have time to explain. I don't have time to explain why this pulse is so good, man. But yeah, the pulse rifle is clearly goated. You know, it even got a good exotic perk, man. It's not as good as the Sturm. The Sturm, I actually feel like I just can't use that anything but chows. But for this gun, I can use it in other activities because, you know, it's just fun to use, and you know, it built different like the Sturm. But you know, I don't know what else you could ask for in a pulse rifle. A 2-burst, does high damage, fast kill time, good range. It's amazing. You know, the No Time to Explain, number 1. That's all I gotta say. So yeah, guys, that's the video. That's the ranking. Kind of a quick one, but you know, there's only 5 pulse rifles, exotic pulse rifles. You know, you're like, blame Bungie if the video wasn't long enough, you know. It was fun, and shout out to you guys. Shout out to the people watching this. Shout out to the people liking, subscribing, sharing. All those people, shout out to you guys. That's the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.